Before I begin what intellectual property rights can do for the business, I would like to just give a brief introduction what intellectual property right is. Intellectual property right in today's time is one of the most valuable asset to any business today, be it say an entrepreneur, be it a company, or be it even a startup. Now, intellectual property rights, what exactly it is? It's basically a right that gives you a monopoly to over others. So it's basically an intangible asset for you. So it's basically awarding or rewarding the creation of mind. So it can be an invention, it can be a literary work by, I mean, a book, a code for a software. It could be a design of a bottle. It could be a symbol. It could be a name. It could be a brand. That's what intellectual property rights is all about. And it's basically to give a reward by giving an exclusive right to the creator of the work or an invention over others. And it's also for a limited period. It's not something that can be there for a lifetime. That's one thing. And the main purpose is only to encourage creation of more inventions, creation of more works. Works, I mean, creation of, say, a drawing, a painting, a photograph, more of work, more of brands, more of introducing products to the world and services also. And to give an economic edge over others. So by economic edge, we mean so you can create revenues for yourself or the business by either licensing it or by selling it or by just franchising it or even by assigning it to someone else. Assignment is basically relinquishing all your rights. But more than that, you can do a licensing. These are the different ways of how you can make IP to your beneficial asset to the company, to your business, or to even your corporation. So what are the types of IPs that are typically there? Those are that we know are patents, trademarks, copyrights, trade secrets. There are geographical indications. There are plant varieties. These are the few types of IP rights. The very common that I have seen is everyone refers to be it a trademark or a copyright. It's always a patent. What exactly is a patent? A patent is a right, a monopoly right given to the inventor who invents something. It could not be just anything. It has to meet certain criteria. Those are, it should be new. It should be something that has industrial utility. It has to be industrially useful, a non-obvious thing. So non-obvious is basically non-obvious to the person who is dealing in that invention. So those are the certain criteria, and it's there for 20 years. So for 20 years, you can enjoy that right. You can give it, you can license it to anyone. So these days we see pharma companies who are introducing different varieties of medicines and vaccines for COVID-19. Those are a few inventions, and they are fighting. So there is a big debate that is going on these days whether there should be a compulsory license or they should be just freely given to them. So licensing is something, I'm just deviating it from you just to give a brief idea of what compulsory license is. So governments during certain epidemics or pandemics like the COVID-19, enforce these rights to help patients or to countries who cannot afford getting these medicines to get it at a rate which is affordable to them. So then there is a compulsory license. They make the companies to license it to the company to the countries at a cheaper rate so that it becomes affordable. Now we move to trademarks. So trademark, as we all know, are the brands. So it could be anything. It could be a label. It could be a design. It could be a logo. It could be a symbol. It could be a ticket. It could be a shoe that can be your trademark. Like you have Christine Louboutin. You also have Kit Kat. These are the brand or the M logo of McDonald's. These are certain brands that have become famous, and it is very important for businesses to protect them, to maintain them. That's where we'll move to the next slides. I will explain it further how we can do that. And copyrights. Copyrights, like it's a book that you write. So the books that we discuss are a matter of copyright registration, and copyright has a longer time period as such, and it's given for, so anything you scribble is a copyright. It's basically to reward you for your creation. It should not be something that is already in existence, like you copy something, someone else's work, and say that it's your work. No, that's not something that copyright law allows. It has to be original. That's one of the important criteria of getting a copyright registration. Then we move to trade secret. So trade secret, before even I discuss that, is not something that has any formal protection in any of the jurisdictions. So it's basically just a formula or a practice that is protected. The best protected trade secret I mean till today is the formulation for manufacturing Coca-Cola. Now we move to the other types of IPRs. Those are industrial design rights. Industrial designs are basically the design of a bottle, or it could be the phone. But for those also, it needs to have aesthetic value to it. So it's all about the external appearance that is rewarded by a design right. And it has to have industrial component to it to have a design registration. And patents and design rather go hand in hand. Reason being, they are not supposed to be something that has to be publicly disclosed even before you obtain the protection. That's one of the very important criteria. So you cannot just disclose it and then go for obtaining a patent right or a design rights. The plant varieties, which by its very name, it signifies that it's related to patent, to plant variety rights. Plant varieties are the breeders who get the rights for the different varieties of plants that they grow. Geographical indications is a right that is given for a produce or a product that comes from the particular region. Like we have the laddus from the Tirupati temple, or the Kolhapuri chappals, or the Pashmina shawl from Kashmir. These are one known, GIs that India has. Also, the wines that are produced in France, the cheese that is produced in France, the champagne that comes from the region are few of the GIs that are known. Now let's, after the brief introduction, let's move how to, or rather I would say, what is the relevance of IP in businesses? Relevance, IP is very important because, it can help you earn profits. It can also rather prove to be not of help if not maintained properly. How it helps you to earn profits? Let's understand that. It helps you to earn profits through different avenues, like I had already discussed, like licensing. It's something that can help you. So instead of giving away your rights altogether, licensing can help you to earn royalties. So it's one of the very important sources of income for companies or even entrepreneurs. So you should never consider that, oh, my business is very small. Why should I even invest that kind of money to protect my brand? But today it's a small brand, tomorrow it can be a huge brand. Like if you see Amazon or even the Tatas, these are big brands. They have become big brands due to a period of time. It's not something that happens all of a sudden, but then you need to invest money. You need to invest money on maintaining it and to exploring it further by these avenues. So there are franchises, say KFCs or the McDonald's or the ice cream parlors that we see today. These are run on franchisee business because it's very difficult for a big business to start all of a sudden, or rather to invest that kind of money and infrastructure on many things in a country. So that's one of the avenues where you can expand the business by you're probably exploring these avenues and areas. How do you do that also? So if today you have a business in India, tomorrow you want to expand it. So before you explore those areas, you need to identify sectors and geographies and then approach probably the geography and see how your brand is going to be you're accepted there So before even launching the brand, you need to do certain searches to find out whether there are similar brands in existence or not. Because Apple was one of the companies which found it very difficult to obtain registrations in certain South American countries and also in China. So that's one of the important reasons why you need to consider IP as your important asset. So if you're into a technology business, technology, how you need to explore the technology, how you need to give it to a company, what are the steps that we need to take before even giving it to a company. So if because I worked in a tech company before this, the best way of obtaining it or rather giving it was licensing it so that the business continues to grow. And then you need to, of course, see whether it can be an exclusive license or a non-exclusive. A non-exclusive license, of course, helps you to give it to others and earn more revenues to that. These are certain things, and there could be a joint venture, there could be an acquisition or a merger, and then how these two companies or two businesses explore each other's rights and how they maintain it also. So it's not just having a registration and sitting over it can help you. You need to maintain it also. Because like trademarks has a 10-year validity. So after every 10 years, you need to renew it to keep it alive. It's not that once you got the registration and you're sitting tight on it and you're not doing anything. Whereas patents, after 20 years, it just goes into public domain. Design, for that matter, is only for 10 years and 5 years external. Extension is given. After that, it goes into the public domain. Copyright, of course, has a longer term. It has a life plus, say, 60 years of the life of the author. Author by mean who has created the work. So it's basically how you realize and how you increase your portfolio so that it helps you. And it's always like, say, put your eggs in one basket. It's not that everywhere it should be scattered, the rights. So for corporations, especially, if you have seen, so it's only one company that owns the entire IP. It cannot be that it's scattered, within the subsidiary. So it's not that, okay, it's an Indian subsidiary, the Indian subsidiary is applying. What you can do is you can license it or allow them to use it, give a consent to use it in the markets that you have set up your subsidiaries. So that's where they can also benefit from the rights, and you can benefit from the rights in turn by licensing it to them, and they are using it. And that's how it forms a very essential component of your business. It forms an essential asset. You can also get loans on basis of the IP portfolio that you have. So businesses are aware of these loans through the IP that they have, and it helps you to be a very competitive, entrepreneur or business in the market. And how do you secure IPs is the next part that I'm moving to. So IP portfolio management is very important. It's not, like I said, that having just the rights is not going to help. You need to maintain it also throughout the year so that you can keep earning revenues over it. You need to be very mindful of who is copying it or who is violating your rights by you doing market surveys or searches, investigations, and restraining infringers. By infringers, I mean violators. That's a very common term that we use in IP law. Infringers or violators who are just copying your products, or they are duplicating, or they are using your product or your packaging and selling their product. That also one thing that they do, or they just use your product and change the packaging and sell it. There are different ways, and you stop them by either issuing a notice to them or initiating suit proceedings before the courts. That's one thing. And then IP auditing is also important. So even before, say, today you are a small business, you want to start a partnership, or you want to go into an LLP, or you want to move as a private company, you need to do an auditing to understand the value of their assets, or you are going to a merger. Valuing your assets is through auditing. You need to know what is there with you, who owns it, who is the right owner, because at times it's very confusing who for businesses to understand who's owning the right in reality, in fact rather. So a few challenges that businesses or rather I've seen clients facing is identifying what IP is. So like I said, they do get confused between patents or trademarks and copyrights. Then there is lack of awareness. Yes, there is lack of awareness because really, I mean, companies don't value and they think, why should I even invest money in getting this right unless and until they come across a dispute. They really don't value it as an asset or unless and until they come across an acquisition. And because it is at times very cost, from a cost perspective, it can increase your cost for maintaining it. And rather choosing a strategy, right kind of strategy of how to go ahead with your business by having IP in place. And then, of course, this face plagiarism or the piracy and copying. These are few things that businesses really face these days. That's it. Thank you. Any questions? Yes. I'll just stop sharing.
Thank you so very much, Leena, for that very exhaustive understanding of IP.